everybody. Welcome back. All right, we got a pretty cool one for you guys today. Today we are out in the, what used to be known as the Desert Training Center. So let me tell you a little bit about it. So back in, it was in early 1940s, roughly 1940, 1942, in that area, General Patton designated a large expanse of the desert Southwest into what was called the Desert Training Area. And in that area, within that perimeter, there was a multitude of military bases established so that they could train tank crews for warfare in North Africa. Because, see, the desert Southwest here in America is very similar to what the conditions were like in North Africa. So this was the perfect training area to send a bunch of people down here into these various bases and train tank crews. Now, one of the things, not only were they down here training crews on the tanks, but they were also doing live fire exercises as well as, let's go this way, Laura.
Yeah.
As well as a top secret weapon. Okay, now back then it was all hush hush. Nobody could talk about it. But what it turned out to be is they were testing what was called an arc lamp light. And this thing put out an astonishing 13 million candle watt power. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that looked like.
Can you imagine 13 million candle watts?
Well, Bob is only 6,000.
Nope. Bob is 6,000, and if you calculate that into lumens, just, you know, if you're curious, 6,000 lumens is ballpark, you know, like 75,000. I'm sorry, 6,000 candle watt power is ballpark 75,000 lumens. The lights on my handheld camera rig are, I believe it's about 2,500 lumen. Okay, so what was this secret weapon going to be used for? Well, they thought that during the night that they could shine this really, really bright light into the face of the enemy, and it would disorientate them, and that would kind of give them the upper edge. And but unfortunately, they determined that, well, it also kind of like reveals your location on the battlefield.
It is very,
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like telling the entire battlefield, here's this big bright star, aim all your guns at it.
Yeah.
So the idea was scrapped. It was scrapped. So what we're going to do today is we're going to head out towards, the first thing we're going to take a look at is this freshwater holding tank. This thing held 500,000 gallons. And then after that, we've got this very strange looking, you guys know what a medicine wheel is? It kind of looks like that. From Google Earth, that's what it looks like. It's a perfect circle with these rocks that are all coming into the center. We've been calling it a medicine wheel up to this point, but we're pretty sure it was probably used for something else because it sits right dead center in this camp. Okay?
It could have also been maybe an earlier water catchment that people had used before then. That's definitely possible. Very odd.
That's possible. So after this episode, guys, you definitely want to go and take a look at or Google the Bouse, B-O-U-S-E, Bouse camp or training camp, and then you can read about this place's entire history.
Yeah.
But today, what we're going to do is get boots on the ground for you guys, and we're going to investigate each and every one of these places, starting with that 500,000 gallon water tank. Okay. All right. So we're headed over there right now. We'll pick back up when we get a little closer. Here we are concrete structure.
Yeah, right in front of us.
Yep. Okay, let's go over here. So, you know, when you've got that many men out here, well, from what I read, there was like, I don't know, over 50,000 men, but I think that they were stretched out amongst many different camps. It wasn't just in this general area.
Yeah, I think there were at least half a dozen camps. Mm-hmm. It's almost in I don't think it was a triangle, but maybe a rectangular.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you're going to need a lot of water. Mm-hmm. And when you look at this place from Google Earth, you know, you can see it's sizable. And got to have water.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so we're going to get out. We're going to take a closer look at this thing. This looks pretty neat. But first, let's get the drone up in the air, get a really good look at it, and then we'll poke around in what we call selfie stick mode. Okay, guys, let's get started. All right, guys, let's see what this thing is all about. 500,000 gallon reservoir.
That's a lot of water, but when you have no water nearby, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, pretty cool. Look at this thing. Wow, very cool. Now this tank up here, we have a rancher in the area that's running cattle. I would imagine that this tank was brought in after the fact. Off there to the right, there's a corral. You can see it way over there.
And there is an aluminum ladder going up to this old tank, so obviously there's a hose in there too, so they're still using it.
Yep, that's something definitely after the fact. Do you think that they would have had a building or some kind of a structure over the top of this thing?
Yeah, I would think so, just to keep contaminants out, or some kind of contaminants.
Yeah, I wonder if they had like a Quonset hut.
Yeah.
Of some sort. You know what I'm talking about. It looks a Quonset hut, guys. If you don't know what that is, it basically looks like a giant sewer culvert. You know, with the ribs. Mm-hmm. But it was like a building, some kind of a roof.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good spot to go down. Let's go down this way. Don't slip.
Don't say that.
That's steeper than it looks.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Okay, so let's be on the lookout for anything, maybe somebody's initials or.
Yeah, sometimes they they put their names in the concrete. I wonder if it would be down here or maybe up top somewhere.
Probably on the edge, I would think. Probably not in the bottom. Look at how the trees have just, over the, so what are we looking at, around 80 years?
80 years, 80 years. That was, early 40s, so
yeah,
about 80 years now since this has been abandoned.
80 years for, what kind of tree is that? This one is.
That's a cat's claw acacia.
Yeah, that's cat's claw.
Yep.
And then this one over here in the middle,
that's another
creosote.
Yeah, on the left, and then a cat's claw on the right.
Cat's claw on the right. That's another cat's claw over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Notice that the donkeys have been down in here too.
Mm-hmm. Looks like cattle too.
Yep.
All kinds of animals coming down in here.
Oh yeah. Well, cool. Okay, let's go back up and maybe walk around, see if we
go
can,
around the other side?
Yeah, we'll see if we can, if there's something in the concrete that direction.
Yeah.
Neat. Here we have something. Look at this, right there.
Oh yeah. There's a bee. And then looks like maybe a BER, or I don't think that's berry.
Or is that SEP, like September?
Oh yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, it might be an SEP right there.
Maybe SEP.
Oh, there's some more stuff over here.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, we got a date, or we got a month and a date.
Oh, there we go.
September of 1943, right there.
We got it.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for, guys. Cool, 43. Yep. Okay, well, let's head out this way.
Just shy of 80 years ago.
So in 43, no, that'd be too soon. See, my dad was in Korea in 53, I think.
Is that early? I think Korea was early 50s.
Yeah. Yeah, but he was over there as a supply sergeant, is what he did. And in other words, in the rear with the gear. So that's what Dad used to say. Yeah. Okay, still looking at the perimeter for any other scribblings, but not quite seeing it.
No, just that so far.
Yeah. All right, so guys, you can see old Bob right over here. So the base was just kind of off that way, closer to the hills. And then there's a lot more interesting things beyond that. So the next thing we're gonna do is go after that
that wheel, or whatever it was, the circular thing.
Yeah, that anomaly.
Anomaly, we'll call it an anomaly.
Remember when we said that, you know, AC is gonna be not just about finding beautiful scenery and things like that. We're out to find anomalies.
Or mysteries, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Things that you can't quite explain.
Okay, so let's hop back into Bob and start heading that direction. We'll see you over there. All right, I think we're just about there. It's kind of off to the right over here.
Very well hidden in the
it's
in the
really
brush.
You know, I can imagine a time when all of this was probably bulldozed level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything was cleared.
And then after that, then they set up all the tents. From the pictures that I saw, it was all tents.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was very few permanent buildings. I think the hospital might have been like something like that, but it was still, I don't know if it was a Quonset hut. I can't remember. But
I'm sure some of you guys have seen MASH. It probably looked like that.
Yeah, it was similar to like like MASH. Similar to that.
Yeah.
It's always really neat, you know, coming out to places like this. Like I was saying earlier, you know, my dad was in the military. He was in the Air Force in the early 50s. And I got a lot of pictures of him in Japan flying over Mount Fuji. Yeah, a lot of really interesting stories about his experiences in Japan, being a supply sergeant and all the things that he encountered. You know, it was the dad's stories went on and on and on. And so, you know, to get out into these military bases like this back during that period, or maybe, you know, a little bit before, this was obviously a decade before, but still, it kind of gives me a little bit of a taste of, you know, what he went through, seeing those old photos of Camp Bouse, as well as, and then comparing those photos to, like, you know, his photos, it all looks the same. So, to be here, I don't know, it does something for me. I really enjoy it. Well, I think what we've got, that medicine wheel looking thing is right over here. We got to get on the other side of this fence. I don't know, somewhere up in here. So let's do this, guys. Let's get the drone up in the air. We'll fly around a little bit. I'm sure I'll be able to find it with that. And then after that, we'll, again, go into selfie stick mode and do a little poking around. See you over there. Okay, going off of the drone, it should be this direction. I remember kind of seeing this post up here.
Yeah, there's a couple of them over there.
But now, okay, like we were talking about earlier, guys, remember the show MASH, and they had the rocks all around their tents, and the rocks that were leading to various places throughout the camp. We've got the same thing going on out here, and all the rocks are still in place. So like where I'm walking right now, there was probably a big tent, and check this out. So now we got another area here. I'm just kind of picturing it in my head of what it looked like.
Yeah, there's some spots that are kind of flat too, like where there would have been a tent or a building where the plants haven't quite taken over again.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is neat. Okay, here's, yeah, we're going the right direction. We saw this on the drone. Very cool. Peace.
Peace with a cross.
Peace with a cross. Okay, we got another one over here. Let's go take a closer look at that one.
Something different, something similar.
It's
almost like the entrance to or it was on either side of a pathway towards a building or something.
Yeah. Another piece. With the cross there. And they're using that quartz float.
Yeah.
That we find so much of out here in the Arizona desert, especially around Quartzsite, Arizona. This quartz float just is laying everywhere. Okay, turning around. Oh, I see the perimeter of it.
Yeah, you can see the, it looks like a berm over there.
Oh, and look here. We could have brought Bob up this direction. Oh well.
Versus take the shortcut.
That's okay.
We didn't know any better.
We didn't know any better.
First time out here.
Yeah. Well, we'll head off this way and see what this is all about. Just an absolute beautiful day today out here. I mean,
yeah, the winds finally died down after the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Didn't get any rain, but it sure was windy.
And that's why, you guys, like I was saying in a couple of my posts, both in the community tab as well as on Facebook, that this episode might be a little bit late because that windstorm was so bad. And you know, you all saw what's going on in Southern Cal.
Yeah.
But over here in Arizona where we were, wow, did it ever blow. And the dust, incredible. You just couldn't, there's no way, you can't film in it.
No.
But we waited it out, and here we are. Beautiful bluebird day in the Arizona desert. With maybe the wind is 2 miles an hour, and it's probably 68 degrees, 70.
Yeah, very, very pleasant for a January day.
Sure is. Okay, here it is, guys. There's the perimeter. So, you know, we're going to have to do some research. I got a better idea. We're going to let you guys do the research. Yeah, so instead of us trying to figure it out, type in Camp Bouse and see if we can't figure out what this thing was. Was it an old water tank? Why does it have all of these, you know, like pathways of rocks leading down into the center?
I had a theory just now.
You had a theory?
Yeah.
No, you better not.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, let's save it for the comments section.
All right, we'll see if they can figure it out, and then we'll see if my theory is right.
Yeah. There you go. That's a good strategy. I like a good interaction. Yeah. Let's get down here to the center. Maybe there's a portal down here. If we stand right here in the very center.
Like a time machine?
A time machine. And if we face kind of to the south a little bit, there we go. It's a time machine, Laura.
Ah, that's it.
Yes. So all of a sudden, if things get a little bit weird, and we'll just get transported right back.
Yeah.
To 1942. How cool would that be?
And then next thing you know, you're surrounded by soldiers, and they're like, "What are you holding there? Where'd you people come from?"
Oh yeah, yeah. They'd be apprehending us pretty
I'd say,
darn
yeah,
quick,
before
wouldn't
long, you'd have a bunch of armed guards behind you and taking you over to the CO's office and wondering where you came from and what you're doing out here.
they? And why you're in the desert dressed in white,
Yeah,
looking like a missionary.
or a spy. Could be a spy too, especially if it was top secret.
All right, well, here it is. I mean, yeah, I just kind of swing the camera around, but it's all filled in with scrub brush now.
Yeah.
But I can see, I mean...
You can still kind of see some of the pathways or whatever they were. There's one over there hidden behind it, another one over here.
Okay, well, hey, what do you say we go look at the flag next?
Yeah.
Let's go look at the flag.
Yep.
Okay, guys, we're going to head off that direction. We'll see you over there by that American flag. So do you remember MASH growing up, the show MASH?
Yeah, well, back when I was I was a young kid. MASH was actually from the 50s, wasn't it? It was more, I
70s.
think. Was
it started
was it 70s? But it was based on the Korean War, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah. The MASH the movie started in the early 70s around, I think it was 71, 72.
Yeah.
And then the TV series didn't take off until the late 70s. And then was real popular throughout the 80s, and it was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I remember the TV show quite a bit.
Yeah, remember Colonel Henry Blake?
I might.
Or what about Colonel Potter?
Oh yeah, Colonel Potter.
Colonel Potter. What was his favorite thing to say whenever he would disagree with somebody?
What was it?
Horse hockey. That's right. Colonel Potter. So here we are.
Looks like it's the 150th Station Hospital location.
Yep. And somebody made where it says 150.
Little memorial plaque.
Very cool. Yeah, look at that.
There's the name of it right there.
There it
too.
is. Yeah,
yep.
Camp Bouse. Nice. And what do you think? What do you have here? Like a geocache, or maybe just probably it's one of those sign-in.
It might be a register or a geocache, one of those two.
More than likely a register.
Along with some trash from the site.
Yeah. Yep. And our good veterans put up a flag.
Love the flag out here.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, I know that there's a whole lot more. Kind of like maybe kind of out this direction, guys. I'm just going to point it to you. Out that way. There, on the drone. Oh yeah, that's right. Here it is. Let's head off this.
It looks like some sort of another foundation potentially.
Yeah. Ooh, you wouldn't want to run over these.
No,
look at this, guys.
I don't think you should drive out here.
Don't drive out here. It's a good thing that's bent down. Here we got another one.
Looks like they're all...
that's a tire biter if I ever saw one, huh?
All over the place.
Oh yeah, this is that concrete pad we saw from the drone. Wheelchair accessible.
Yeah. Well, if it was a hospital, then they would need that.
Absolutely.
Bring in a stretcher or, wheelchair.
So for a hospital, you got to have a concrete floor, right?
Yeah.
You really need to. And that's probably what this was. Notice we've got, the concrete's on an angle here, wheelchair accessible.
We've got a little path over there.
Oh yeah, it does. It heads out that way too, doesn't it? Yeah, let's take a quick peek. Indeed. Heads out that way. Yep. Okay. Let's take a look over here. We've got some more pylons
over there.
Yeah. This way. Oh, you could just spend hours and hours and hours out here.
Yeah, wandering around, looking for the different foundations and.
Not seeing any scratchings in those.
No, these ones look pretty void of it.
But, you know, we've pretty much dated it already with the giant freshwater holding tank. Yeah, I wonder what they had here. Oh, it's more of the spiky things.
Yeah, we got them a whole line of them over here.
Sure do. Yeah, I wonder what this was. Sure would be neat to go back in time.
Well, for that, I guess you have to go over to the time machine.
Yes.
And then you can go back in time if you stand there long enough.
You know, if I was to have like one parting wish before I leave this earth, it's to have a time machine.
A time machine would be awesome.
Where I could just go back in time, you know, nobody could see me.
Yeah.
I could just observe. That's all I'm interested in doing. I don't want to interact. I just want to sit back and observe history.
You have to make sure that you can smell the smells and hear the sounds also.
Yes, you know, that's something that you only read about in books, is like, you know, when you're walking through one of those, you know, mid to late 1800s mining camps.
Yeah.
You know, sure, you can picture the images in your head of what it was like with all of the buildings and the facades and things like that. But the one thing that's not there is the smells.
Yes.
The horse manure, the cow manure, the
human odors, all of that stuff, because they didn't have very sanitary conditions back then.
No, they did not. They pretty much just opened the window and went, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, now
hopefully there's nobody down below.
Well, they did have outhouses.
They did.
Things like that. So not necessarily.
I guess the medieval days were when they were just throwing things out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right about that. It wasn't, they had outhouses and things like that, but wouldn't that be something?
That would have.
You know. All right, guys, so we're working our way back to Bob. The next thing I want to show you is the gunnery range, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So what they were doing there is, so this is the place where you had chow hall, you had the tents, where, you know, the sleeping quarters. Of course, now we showed you the hospital and everything in between out here. The next thing I want to show you is the staging area for the gunnery range, okay? And that's a little bit more to the north, okay? So let's head on over there. Really, really cool. I mean, from a bird's eye view with the drone, you can definitely see how all of the various rows and how they were staging the tanks. And then there's a big berm out there where I would imagine, well, you know, the main gun on a tank, of course, we all know it elevates on its own up and down. Yeah. But a lot of times they would park the tank against the berm, and they could also get more elevation by that. And the hills in the background were basically, you know, like the bullet stop. Okay. So if you read the signage around here, it does say, if you find any ordnance laying on the ground, don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Call the authorities.
Exactly. Contact the BLM, give them the coordinates so they can come out here and properly dispose of it. Yeah. All right, so we're going to head back into Old Bob, head off to the gunnery range. We'll see you over there. Like to watch World War II movies and things like that when you were younger, huh? Yeah, back when I was a kid. I don't know why I had that kind of fascination, but I did. Yeah, I was the same way. I mean, I just I've seen everything. Do you remember, what was that called now? Black Sheep Squad? Do you remember Black Sheep Squadron? No, I don't think I ever saw that one. That one was out in the 80s too. It was about those Corsair pilots in the Pacific. And I don't know how many seasons it ran for, but that was kind of neat. So it was a TV series. TV series. Okay. Yeah, so, you know, in the, when I was real young, I got this wooden crate from my grandfather on my dad's side. And it was just filled with all these old rounds from like the World War II era and the Vietnam era.
Yeah.
And that was what started me off on collecting inert ordnance.
Okay.
And so then when I started my career, as I got into it, I was meeting a lot of other folks because, that's what I did for a living. I met a lot of other folks who collected inert ordnance also, and I had one heck of a collection.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, it was really, really cool. I mean, you name it. I don't want to name it all off individually here on YouTube. I'll let you guys use your imagination. But I had one heck of a collection. Super cool, but all of that got I either gave it to friends or sold a lot of it off before heading out here into the world to do all this cool stuff. All right, so here we are. This is the gunnery range, and what I'm going to do is, I'm sure you already saw in the drone footage, there's this big berm off to the left right here of Bob. So this was the berm I would imagine they would kind of like crawl up on to elevate the main gun.
Yeah.
So let's go over to maybe like right up in here. I'm guessing.
There's one more row right in here.
Yeah, there we go. Somewhere right in here is good enough. This'll work. Let's park Bob like right here. There we go. No. Let's get the drone up in the air and get a really good look at this spot, guys. Check this out. All right, here we are. So off to my left is where you saw on the drone footage all these aisles, and I believe that was the staging area. The berm is off to my right here, and then further on to the north are those hills I was telling you about, and those act as a backdrop, for their live fire exercises. But pretty neat to be out here and see all of this. I can just imagine, all that equipment lined up.
How loud it was.
So maybe they did like a crew rotation. So they had these guys here doing their live fire, and then there was probably other tank crews back, staged out off this direction. And
then they would just rotate back and forth.
Exactly, and then they would just rotate them through throughout the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of how I think that it works.
That's how I would picture it, but I've never been in the military, so.
No. And you guys, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. you guys might have some other ideas as to how it worked out here, but that's my general idea. But by all means, you know, share your thoughts down in the comment section. Now, the other thing I was thinking about was where did they store their ordnance while they were conducting all of these exercises? And I think we may have found it. It's over here on the north side of this hill.
Yeah.
Take a look out in front of me there. I know I'm kind of pointing right into the sun, but there's this hill, and on the north side there is a hole. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna have to go check that out after we get done here. But walk in this direction. We're about to the end of the berm. I think you get the general idea. Let's turn around. Now, it's hard for you guys to probably see it on this cam, but straight out there, just against that cliff face, just to the right of that swar cactus, there is some cave-looking features out here. And so we did a side-by-side comparison of what that photo of Patton's cave.
Yeah, we've heard about that. So, but it doesn't look. It looks like.
Give me the backstory on Patton's cave.
Well, supposedly it was a cave that he put his communications in. It was also top secret, so it must have somehow corresponded with the base, from what I gather. I found limited information on it, so I've not been able to pinpoint the exact location. But looking at that rock over there and the photos that I've seen, I don't think it's over there. It has to be somewhere else.
I don't think it's there either, because the geology of that rock over there it looks to be more igneous.
Yeah.
And then that photo that you have, it looks more limestone.
Yeah, those over there look more of just little alcoves.
Yeah.
They don't look like natural caves where, yeah, I guess you could go in and then there was a skylight in there, so it'd be the perfect place to set up your communications. Be kind of obscure to everybody else, yet
right.
You could easily reach the sky.
I'm thinking more than likely it's in one of these hills.
That makes sense.
Right off
based
here.
on the color of them.
The color of the rock and the geology type.
So we'll have to see if we can find that.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we can come back out here, do some more poking around.
Yeah.
Or if any of you guys know where it might be, you know, feel free to send us a email.
Yeah.
And send us those coordinates if you don't mind. But I understand if you don't want to. But that's something we'll look into a little bit more in the future.
One of those things that people might kind of keep to themselves. Even though it's on the internet, they don't give precise locations.
Right.
There might be a word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, so this is the gunnery range. What do you say we head on over to what looks like it could be a magazine?
Yeah, that sounds good.
You know, they were doing it one of two ways. They either had some kind of a temporary storage magazine out here for the ordnance, or they were just keeping it on a truck.
Yeah.
But we got to go see what that hole is all about.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's go do that next. All right, guys, there we go. Here we are up on this rim here, actually the north side of the hill. And so looking off that direction, so Laura, can you imagine? I mean, I'm not suggesting this. It'd be a very dangerous thing to do, but you probably don't want to go out there with a metal detector and go poking around. I mean,
no, probably not. I sure wouldn't.
You might run into something that could maybe give you a bad day.
Yeah.
So probably not a good idea. But if anybody ever comes out here and takes a look around. And if you do find something, probably a good idea to report it. Don't touch it. Just leave it in place.
Don't do that.
Take a picture of it.
Yes.
Okay. Get the coordinates and, you know, report it to the Bureau of Land Management.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look around over here, see what we have. So we're definitely standing on top of a waste rock pile.
Yeah.
So what is this thing?
Was it a bunker?
Is this a bunker? Is this a magazine?
Or is
this
it something
powder
else?
storage? What is this going to be? Nope. It is definitely a you know what.
Yeah, one of those things.
It's one of those things. It definitely is one of those things. Well, you know what that means, don't you?
Oh, we're probably going to have to come back out and see what's in there.
Yeah, that means we're going to have to change our shirts.
Yes.
And go into ANFP mode.
Correct.
But not today.
No, not today.
No, we're going to be in this area maybe tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we do it. So guys, if you want to see that, you know what you need to do. You got to drop down in the description area, click on the link, head on over to Abandoned and Forgotten Places, because you're going to get to see what's down in that hole.
Yes.
All right, let's head over this direction, over into the sun. Well, I was wrong, Laura. I thought for sure that they would have had some kind of temporary storage magazine out here.
Well, it seemed like it would be a good spot for it.
No, indeed, it was a, you know what?
One of those other things.
One of those other things.
That was probably out here before them.
Let's turn around here, face into the sun. There we go. All right, guys. So let's have some fun with this. Let's recap what we did today. Take a look at our track on Google Earth. Check it out. Okay, so there we are right there. We came in from that direction. You can see our track down on the map there. And that was the 500,000 gallon water reservoir.
Yes.
Then we headed off over this direction. Take a look. Okay, that way right there. And there it is. Okay, that's where we saw what we thought at the time was a medicine boat, but it is not. And Laura told me what she thinks it is, and I'm going to have to agree with her.
It's my theory.
Yes, but we're not going to tell you guys what it is because we want you to drop down in the comments section and you tell us what you think it is.
Yeah.
All right, so then you can see our track. It heads off this other direction. Let's head up there. Flying, here we go. Boy, I love Google Earth. Google Earth is so cool. Okay, all right, so now we're coming in on the gunnery range. Check it out. There it is. You can see our track and where we parked Bob and the berm down in there. Okay, that was the gunnery range. And then we took this short road off over this direction, kind of this way. And on the north side of that hill right there. And that's where we are right now. So what I'm going to do on screen is I'm going to drop the coordinates for you so you guys can play along. Type those coordinates into Google Earth and you can see what we explored today. All right, well, hey, that was a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, it's a neat area.
This is really cool, and there's so much more to explore. I mean, you know, trying to stuff such a large area in say a 30-minute plus episode, that's really hard to do. So we're hoping that we hit some of the highlights for you. And by all means, you know, head over to the internet, you know, and Google Bouse Camp, B-O-U-S-E, Bouse Camp, and read up on some of the history of this place. It's really super awesome.
Yes.
And with that, we are going to get on out of here because we're going to start diving into what we think is going to be our next adventure. But no spoilers because it's going to be super cool.
Yep.
Okay, guys, like I said, we're going to get on out of here and we'll see y'all again next Sunday. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.